Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. The news swirling around Glasgow tonight feels like the kind of story that nobody really wanted to believe when the first whispers started leaking out of the training ground. But now the noise is so loud that it is impossible to ignore. Brendan Rodgers, the man who was supposed to steady the ship, rebuild the spirit, and lead Celtic into another golden chapter, has apparently made his decision, and it has left the entire country gasping. People are still replaying the words from earlier interviews, looking for signs, searching for clues, but nothing could have prepared supporters for the stunning revelation that he will leave the club. It is not just about football, not just about tactics or results. It is about identity, pride, and a manager who carried the hopes of thousands each week. In pubs across the city, in living rooms filled with green and white scarves, the conversations are laced with disbelief. How could this happen now, at this exact moment, when there seemed to be momentum building again? Supporters are struggling to take in the idea that the man who smiled so confidently on the touchline has quietly chosen to walk away from it all. From the very first moment he returned to Celtic Park for his second spell, Rodgers carried an aura of unfinished business, as if fate had written him a second chapter that would end in triumph. Fans welcomed him back with open arms, believing that his experience in England and his history in Glasgow would merge into something unstoppable. Yet football has its cruel way of turning dreams into dust, and the sudden shock of his departure feels like the rug being pulled out from under a grand stage. Sources close to the club whisper that this decision has been simmering for weeks, maybe even months, hidden behind polite press conferences and carefully chosen words. Some say he was frustrated with the board. Others suggest he felt the pressure of constant expectation weighing too heavily. Whatever the reason, the timing could not feel more brutal. The supporters believed they had stability, but instead, uncertainty has stormed in. Rival fans are already circling, mocking, claiming the mighty Celtic project is crumbling again. But the truth, the real truth, is that nobody quite knows what comes next, and that makes the silence after the announcement even louder than the chants inside the stadium ever were. It is impossible to talk about this decision without mentioning the ripple effect it creates beyond Glasgow. Across the Highlands, through Edinburgh's winding streets, and into the smallest villages where football loyalty is passed down like family heirlooms, Rodgers' departure will dominate conversations. He was not just any manager. He was a figure who carried with him the aura of European nights and the promise of domestic dominance. The manner in which he leaves is what hurts the most. Not with a farewell tour, not with the dignity of lifting one last trophy, but with a sudden exit that feels abrupt, almost cold. Rumors suggest he had been approached by other clubs, whispered offers tempting him with new challenges and bigger stages. Some dismiss it as gossip, while others are convinced that there is already a plan in place for his next destination. The air of mystery only fuels the fire, and the story has now become larger than football itself. It has become about betrayal, about loyalty questioned, about what it means to commit to a badge and then turn away when the storm begins to build. Fans are hurt, confused, and above all, desperate for answers. In the pubs of Glasgow's East End, where every pint comes with a passionate debate, supporters are grappling with the emotional weight of the news. The chants that once carried Rodgers' name with pride now echo with bitterness, replaced by mutters of disbelief and betrayal. Older fans compare the feeling to the sudden departures of past heroes, recalling moments when trust was broken, when loyalty seemed a one-way street. Younger fans, many of whom only knew Celtic through the dominance Rodgers once engineered, are left bewildered, wondering if this is simply the nature of modern football. Beyond the emotion, though, there is a growing sense of unease about the practical side of the decision. Who steps in now? Who can fill a void left by someone who is not just a manager, but a symbol of ambition? Rival supporters laugh at the turmoil, but those inside the green and white family know that the search for stability will not be easy. Rumors are swirling about potential successors, names thrown into the air with reckless abandon, but nothing feels concrete. The only thing certain right now is that a storm has hit Celtic, and nobody knows when the calm will return. Rodgers' legacy is suddenly complicated, and that might be the harshest twist of all. For years, he will be remembered as the manager who brought invincible seasons, who brought attacking football that made the stands tremble with joy. Yet, this exit could stain everything he achieved, leaving behind a bitter aftertaste where there once was only admiration. Some fans will never forgive him, insisting that walking away at such a crucial moment is nothing short of betrayal. Others, perhaps softer in their judgment, will argue that he did what he thought was best for his career, that football is ultimately a business as much as it is passion. But the division among the support will linger. Rodgers might go on to find success elsewhere, but in the heart of Celtic Park, his portrait will no longer shine with the same glow. Instead, it will be a reminder of how quickly heroes can turn into villains in the unforgiving theater of football. The songs, the banners, the praise, all of it may be overshadowed by this single decision. And that reality is perhaps more painful than the departure itself. As the dust begins to settle, questions will continue to mount, and the speculation will not die down anytime soon. Did Rodgers feel abandoned by the board? Did he lose faith in the squad's ability to compete on the European stage? Was it family, personal reasons, or simply the lure of a new challenge that pulled him away? Each theory fuels another conversation. Each rumor builds another headline. What remains clear is that the Celtic faithful now face a future clouded in uncertainty, with the prospect of a transitional period that nobody asked for. The timing of the decision, the secrecy surrounding it, and the lack of clarity from the man himself have all combined to create a sense of betrayal that runs deeper than any tactical failure on the pitch. This is not just about losing a manager. It is about losing faith, losing trust, losing the belief that one of their own was there for the long haul. Scotland watches, rival clubs smirk, and supporters mourn not just the departure of a manager, but the death of a dream that felt so close to being fulfilled. The story has only just begun, and its ending remains unwritten. The tension in the air around Celtic Park tonight feels different, like the final whistle of a match where everyone knows something is over, but nobody is ready to leave their seats. Rodgers' decision has cracked open old wounds, reminding supporters of the fragility that exists even in periods of dominance. The timing makes it sting more than ever. This was supposed to be a season of renewal, a chance to push further in Europe while tightening the grip on domestic trophies. Now the focus has shifted completely. Journalists camped outside Lennoxtown training ground are chasing shadows, waiting for a statement, waiting for any sign that the board has a plan in place. Meanwhile, the players are left under a cloud of uncertainty, wondering what the future holds for them. Will the squad be reshaped? Will a new manager demand a new style? Or will this be the moment that rivals smell blood and break Celtic's rhythm? The sense of instability grows with each hour of silence, and though Rodgers may have left quietly, the noise surrounding his departure is louder than any cheer he ever received from the stands. The city feels caught between anger and mourning. Across social media, the reaction has been explosive. The digital terrace is alive with fury, heartbreak, and endless speculation. Memes and mockery pour in from rival fans, while Celtic supporters fight amongst themselves about who to blame. Some aim their frustration squarely at Rodgers, branding him a mercenary who has abandoned the club for personal gain. Others point fingers at the board, accusing them of failing to support him properly, leaving him little choice but to walk away. The debate is fiery, with every post, every video, every rumor adding petrol to the blaze. Influencers, podcasters, and pundits have seized on the drama, turning it into the only topic worth discussing. The footballing landscape in Scotland thrives on stories like this, and this one feels seismic. What makes it worse is the lack of clarity. Without Rodgers speaking directly, the silence is being filled by theories and conspiracy. Did he have another job lined up already? Was there a bitter fallout behind closed doors? Until he speaks, supporters will keep spinning their own narratives, each one darker and more dramatic than the last. Inside the dressing room, the mood must be heavy. Players who trusted Rodgers, who were guided by his methods and his voice, are suddenly left without direction. For young talents especially, the manager represented more than tactics. He was the bridge to bigger dreams, the mentor who could shape careers. Now, without him, they face the risk of being caught in the chaos of transition. Senior players, too, must feel the pressure, knowing that stability is crucial and fearing that the club could spiral if leadership does not arrive quickly. Training sessions may continue, but the energy shifts when the man in charge is no longer committed. Whispered stories suggest RODGERS had distanced himself from certain figures in the squad, creating divisions that may have hastened his decision. Others insist the players are as shocked as the fans, blindsided by the suddenness of it all. What is certain is that trust has been shaken. The famous unity of Celtic, the "we never walk alone" spirit, feels fractured, and it will take a monumental effort to rebuild it. The team cannot afford to dwell, but human emotions are not easily switched off, even in professional football. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. The Boardroom now finds itself under the harshest spotlight it has faced in years. Supporters demand answers, not carefully worded statements, but genuine clarity about what went wrong and what comes next. Names of potential replacements are already swirling like autumn leaves in a storm, yet nothing feels substantial. Every fan has an opinion. Some dream of a big European name to restore ambition, while others argue for a homegrown figure who understands the culture and pressure of managing Celtic. Whoever comes in will face a monumental task, not only in terms of winning matches, but also in healing the emotional wound RODGERS has left behind. The board knows that a wrong appointment could set the club back years, undoing the progress of a decade. Rivals are circling, sensing weakness, and the media is feeding on the drama, amplifying the urgency of the decision. The question remains, will Celtic act boldly and decisively, or will hesitation deepen the crisis? In moments like these, leadership is everything. Without it, the club risks losing not just a manager, but the identity that has always made it a force in Scottish football. The fans will accept nothing less than clarity and ambition. Looking back, it is strange how football has a way of rewriting memories almost instantly. Only weeks ago, RODGERS was hailed as the man who had rediscovered his touch, orchestrating victories that reminded fans of why they adored him in the first place. Now, those same victories feel hollow, almost like a farewell gift disguised as progress. Supporters replay his post-match interviews with suspicion, dissecting every word for hidden meaning, convinced that he was preparing this exit long before the news broke. That feeling of betrayal lingers heavy in the heart of the Celtic faithful. The banners, the chants, the unshakable loyalty, did it all mean so little to him? Or was he simply crushed by the weight of expectation, unable to carry the burden any longer? Whatever the truth, the rewriting of RODGERS' story at Celtic has already begun. Instead of the savior who returned, he may be remembered as the man who walked away at the worst possible time. The judgment will be harsh, because football is harsh, and the supporters who pour their lives into the club cannot accept indifference. Legacy is fragile, and RODGERS has cracked under the pressure. As dawn approaches, the streets of Glasgow will wake to newspapers carrying the same headline: Brendan Rodgers has left Celtic. Yet behind those words lies an avalanche of emotion, confusion, and unanswered questions. For the fans, it is more than just a story about a manager. It is about the soul of the club they love. The uncertainty of who will take charge next adds to the anxiety. But deep down, Celtic supporters know one thing for sure: the club will survive. It always has. This storm, no matter how fierce, will eventually give way to new beginnings. The hurt will linger, the betrayal will sting, but the passion of the fans is stronger than any single departure. RODGERS' name will fade, replaced by whoever steps into his shoes, and history will march on as it always does. Still, for now, Scotland is buzzing with the drama, the kind of football story that reminds everyone why the game is not just about goals, but about the people, the emotions, and the fragile threads of loyalty that tie it all together. This is not just Celtic's story. It is the story of a nation that lives and breathes football. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.